you a reformer routine, about 30 minutes, that will help you keep your pelvis neutral if you are suffering from any lower back difficulties. Herniated disc, just a very owie lower back. This will help you keep your pelvis in neutral, so no rounding, which should help alleviate your issues. So we're going to start on 2 greens. If you have 2 reds, that would be fine. 2 reds and a blue would also be fine. And we'll do our footwork, heels together, toes apart, and it's light. So you're pressing out as you inhale, exhaling to pull in. And as you press out and in, your focus is on the space between your ribs and hips, really. So you're maintaining a very connected rib to hip. So the tail stays heavy, neutral pelvis, no focus on jamming your lower back into the mat, right? Sometimes when we think about the lower back pulling into the mat, that ends up where our energy is, like behind the ribs or behind the belly button, and that's not where we want the energy. We want the energy to flow throughout the spine. So your tail stays heavy, your abs stay in. Let's move our feet to a heels on the bar, hips width apart, flexed position, and pressing out and coming in. And the big toes point, or the feet point right up to the ceiling as if you have your feet in a toaster. So sometimes there's a tendency to flap your feet towards you and push them away. We want to maintain the toes all the way to the ceiling. The tail stays heavy, and again, you're tightening the rib to hip connection, so you're nice and tight in the middle. And it is, again, lengthening the abdominal wall, not trying to crunch it towards the floor. Shoulder blades stay open. Palms can be resting down on the side, or if it helps you keep your shoulders open, sometimes rotating to blades or pinky side of the hand down does help. Let's come into balls of the feet on the foot bar, heels together, toes together, knees together, press out. Inhale out, exhale in. So the misconception when we start Pilates is that the opening of the springs is the hard part, because sometimes that feels like the challenge part, but that's not. The focus should be on the resistance, the resisting the springs, the closing of the springs, the coming in. Because if I just pushed out, don't do this, and drop my feet, I'd come in really fast, right? I don't want to smash. But if you were to just push out and let your feet come up to the ceiling, you'd smash all the way in, meaning the springs will close with or without your help. So you need to do the work to pull the carriage back in with your collar staying open. 3 more here. Inhale out, exhale in. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 1 more time here. And then let's go wide with the feet. So the heels come to the bar, to the corners. Your knees open, and you press out and keep your tail heavy as you come in. Inhale out, exhale in. The rib to hip connection stays tight. I find it challenging here not to tuck my tail on the way back in and not round into my lower back. So I focus on really digging into my tailbone or sacrum as I pull in. But we all have different challenges, so if that doesn't work for you, you might have to focus on your ribs not closing down. We all have a Pilates mantra that we're working with, right? 3 or 4 things that we always kind of cheat on. Once you find those, Pilates becomes a little easier. Let's take yourself away from the shoulder blocks a little bit. Bring your hands into your handles. So your hands come up over your shoulders. We're going to pull the rib cage, ribs or bottom rib towards the hips and lift one knee into tabletop and then the other to protect our lower back from getting involved in our tabletop. Now we're going to bend the elbows right in by your side and push the arms down and bend. If this weight still on 2 greens is too much or too little for you, I would venture that it's probably too heavy more than too light, then you can change it. We want to feel our rib to hip connection really activated as we push the arms down. Same idea but with straight arms. Exhale, push down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, push down. Inhale, lift up. 4 more. 4. When there's no beginning, middle, or end, so you want to make sure that you're not hitting the stopper all the time when you come up. It's common to do that the first few, where you figure out where it is. Turn your palms to face in and out and in. So as your arms come up a little higher, sometimes you end up hitting the stopper. Just figure out where it is, because Pilates should be more of like a continuous motion, like the ocean is. There's never a break in the tide, really. It's always moving. And circle around, down, up, and around. 2, 3, and 4. Go the other direction. 4, 3, 2. One more time here. And you can take a little rest. Maybe bring your feet back to the foot bar and guide yourself away from the shoulder blocks. We're going to start curling up, and we just want to make sure that we're not into the shoulder blocks so that they're holding us up. Again, knees come into tabletop one at a time. Now as we push our arms down towards our hips, curl up. Now this is where sometimes when we crunch up that we also tuck our tail under, which could be really aggravating for the lower back, but also not necessary for the core. So you want to keep that sacrum down, keep the tail down, keep the collar open so we're not crunching the upper body too much either, and release back down. So many things. Welcome to Pilates. Inhale, pull on the chin. Exhale, curl up. We're going to keep our knees in, but we're going to pulse the arms. We inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. 20. Inhale. It's almost like you're flattening your abs every time you exhale. Inhale and exhale. 60. Inhale and exhale. 70. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Curl up a little higher, crunch, and release down. Now we are going to put our feet in the straps. So we're going to take and we can keep the same weight. You can keep the 2 greens. If you wanted to add blue and take away a green, so you're on a green and a blue, that's fine. Or a red and a blue, or 2 reds, do what works. It shouldn't feel too heavy. We want to get a stretch without being pushed into a stretch that we might not be ready for. So we inhale to bend the knees, exhale to press away. Bend the knees and push down and away. So tail is out, abs stay tight. 5, 4, 3, 2. One more time here. And rotate to parallel. Bend the knees in and push away. Bend and press. Inhale and exhale. 4, 5, 7. One more time. And keep the legs in parallel. Get the legs to come straight up for a hamstring stretch. So this is another one where we start to tuck into our lower back or maybe lift the hips up. So we want to make sure that our tail stays heavy, our abs stay tight as we lift the legs, and then we use the quads to push away. So we kind of stopped the spring tension here. So again, how I learned the exercise was to come up and use your quads to push away and not really holding. As a dancer first, I do like to hold stretches, and it's not wrong to pull on the ropes here and do what works. But we always want to make sure we re-engage the muscles that are helping to support the stretch before we get out of it, so that we're not just pushing into the muscle that's actually in its most elongated form right now to get us out of it. So use your quads or even soften the knees a little bit to push back and away. Now we're going to lift the legs up and open out to the sides and come back in. My hips go pop, 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 out and in. Now as you come into your wide position, just make sure the carriage stays steady. So if you open your legs and the carriage moves a lot, like mine just did right there, you may feel the stretch, but it may be really hard to get the legs back together, right? And you're pushing into those muscles to get back in. So we want to make sure the carriage stays steady, and the reason for that is because we know that the quads are activated as we move out and in, which is protecting the stretch. So there is a reason, there's always a reason in Pilates or any 4 more here. 4, 3, exhale down, 2, good one, and then we're going to take this is called froggy, so squeeze your heels together, bring the legs straight up over your hips, bend the knees to a diamond without moving the carriage, so quad activation, open the legs, and then push away. So the legs come straight up, you bend, you open, you press, lift, bend, tail out, open, and press. Now this is where, again, you may be tempted to round the back, right? We want to keep the tail out, open, and push. Last time here, lift, tail out, open, and reverse. Go out, bend in, stretch up, quads, push away. Hamstrings and inner thighs are going to feel this. You probably are going to feel the inner thighs the most, the groin area, even. Some people might describe it as, that's not a bad thing. I personally am of the body posture that needs to use my inner thighs more often. I like to not. All right, now review circles. So the legs stay in parallel. They come up, circle out, and around. So you may hit the shoulder blocks if you are doing these on a classical reformer as I am. Not a big deal. Just be aware of it. 4, and again, there's no stopping. There's no beginning, middle, of end to these circles, because if there are, you are using the muscle you're trying to stretch to activate the movement. One more here. And reverse. Out. And down. Inhale, out. Exhale, down. 4, 5. So 2 greens for me is new. With my back issues that I've been having, I started with just a green, then I added a green and a blue. So coming to 2 greens is a little heavier, and really great that I can actually even do this right now. Push the legs away, cross one ankle over the other thigh, and that rope will go slack, and bend the other knee in for a little figure 4 stretch. So if your back pain causes any sort of sciatic tension, piriformis tightness, this stretch should help you out. You want to lift the ribs up and drop the hip down. I feel it best when I push my knee away. You may feel it a little better if you pull the knee slightly in towards you. It depends on which part of that muscle is tight. And switch to the other foot. Bend, pushing the knee away, maybe dropping the tail, lifting the ribs. Maybe slightly pulling it in again. And you may notice that one day it feels better when you push, and the very next day, our bodies also aren't always giving us the same exact feedback. So you may want to take your emotional state out of it and try something new, because trying new things is actually what can kind of connect you. Maybe not every day it works. And come all the way out. Find the foot bar, and lift the other, and find the foot bar. I'm going to take this straps up, and that one just fell off, so I'll have to get that back on there. So roll up, and we're going to take your springs down to just 1 green. So with just a green, we're going to sit with our backs against the shoulder blocks and our legs straight out if we can. Now if your knees need to bend because your legs are having a moment and they don't want to go straight, or your lower back won't stay in neutral, which you need to sit easy pose, do it. I'm going to fight for straight today, but you exhale to push forward, inhale to come back. Exhale forward, inhale back. And again, trying to avoid hitting the stop every time. So we're moving through the work. 4, 3, 2, and push your arms up, palms face each other. Open and close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. 4, Turn the palms up, elbows in by your side. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, open to the side. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, bend. Exhale, inhale, open. Exhale, forward. Inhale, bend. 3, and close. Inhale. Exhale. So where we get in trouble is we go too far out to the side. When we bring our arms out to the side and we kind of get locked here, right? So even though I didn't hit the stopper, I went too far back that my fingers were no longer in my peripheral, which made it so I had to use my shoulder instead of my chest to come back. So you want to make sure that the chest is helping to push you back. Last time. Exhale forward and bend. Turn your palms to face forward. So we're going to do a push-up in the air. Exhale and bend. Exhale forward. Inhale, bend. 4. One more here. And release down. So you can put your straps back on the pegs for a moment. We're going to keep the same weight and spin around. Headrest can go all the way flat, and your legs can, again, if they can, go straight through the headrest and stay straight. If they need to pop up a little, great, or they can, again, sit in easy pose. Your hands come to the outside of the reformer, and you kind of row backwards. Exhale back, inhale forward. And as you row backwards, you want your fingertips to really reach towards the floor and keep the squeeze of the shoulder blades on your back body. 4, 3, one more here. And then let's spin the palms so the back of the hand goes into the handles and the arms come a little wider into a V and push back. 8, 7, 6, ribs stay in. 4, 3, 2, one more here. And let's thread the elbows through. They can go through the handles. If that's not comfortable, you can go through the leg loops. And you push out 8. And this one is notorious for making us want to pop our ribs forward. So keep your shoulders over your ribs, over your hips. 4, 3, 2. Hold the arms out, little lifts up and down. 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Good. Put the handles back. And we're going to come into a push-up position, but we're going to do it without the foot bar. So we're going to bring our foot bar all the way down. You bring your hands either to the foot bar, if that's comfortable or more comfortable, or to the wood in front, whichever feels best. But we're going to push your carriage out into push-up, so still just one green or one red, shoulders over your wrists still, and then bend the knees to lift the hips and come back into your 4-point position. So the rib to hip connection is tight, the shoulders are open, press out and pull up. Press out and pull up. Now as you push out and in, you want to make sure that your abs are staying in connected. So your abs kind of naturally work as you drop your hips, but they also naturally let your back take over as you lift the hips. So the abdominals staying connected or knitted, your ribs in, just helps. Now we're going to keep the hips down and keep the push-up position, but we're going to move from the arms. We're going to press out and kind of dart over. Inhale out. Exhale over. Inhale, push. Exhale, breathe in. Two more. Last one. And we're going to come with your shoulders over your wrists, and we'll do push-ups here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, one more time here, and release. And you can sit back in a child's pose if that feels okay for your back. If it doesn't, you can keep your back straight, but still kind of push your tail out to lengthen the glute. So you're So we're going to take your boxes on into the longer position, and you want to maintain the same tension, so a green or red, and we're going to lie on our belly on the box. So you're going to bring your chest over the edge, legs as close together as your back allows, and hands come up to the handles, or a little higher onto the ropes. Now, your shoulders are going to round down into a little released tension, but when we round down, sometimes our legs relax. That's a no-no. Keep the lower abs pulled up and the inner thighs together. So our lower body is active, which means our upper body isn't inactive, right? We're not completely relaxed. Abs stay tight. Roll your shoulders open, inhale, and lift the chest as you come back. And then release down straight, and then hung over again. So we're doing all three things. We come into a straight spine, and then we lift up to extension. Now, if you're feeling any discomfort in extension, omit it, and try to keep just a straight spine instead of lifting up higher. You do what works for your body. You listen to your back, always more than any teacher. Your body is the best teacher for how to heal yourself. Last one. And lower down. Now you're going to pull your elbows in tight by your side and push your forearms back. 8. This time we're keeping the spine in a nice straight line. Ears, shoulders, hips, toes. 4. Abs pull up. 3. 2. One more time. And then release. And we'll put the straps back on the pegs. Let the handles go. And we're going to let our hands go to the outsides of the reformer for a second. And we'll do a slow swim. So your right arm and left leg lift together and lower. Left arm, right leg lift together and lower. Abs pull in, ribs pull up. Reach and lower. Reach and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one, each side. Now pull your abs in, draw your shoulders down. Lift all 4 limbs together and start to paddle, inhaling through the nose. Back of your neck is long. Eyes are to the floor. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Lift everything higher. Pause. And release down. And we'll pop up carefully onto all 4s from here. So you're on your box. And again, cat stretch may not feel good. Rounding through the lower back and tucking your head like a scared cat may not feel good, which it didn't for me for months and months. So going ear to hip, same ear to same shoulder to same shoulder to same rib to same hip, if you think of the same side, and then come back to straight, and then go the other side. So you're keeping your spine, your tail, in neutral, you're just laterally flexing it, which does actually feel really good, because you're letting yourself wag out. But again, if that doesn't feel good, but cat does, do what works. Coming back to flat. So in a flat spine, it doesn't mean you're kind of taking out your natural curve. You'll have a natural curve of your lower back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, keep the neck long, reach opposite arm and leg away from center, and hold, inhale. And then exhale, pull back in. Other side, reach, and hold and pull in. Inhale, reach, exhale, pull in, and reach, and pull in. Now your hands can stay down. Your left leg is going to stretch out behind you. Soften your elbows so you're not jamming into your elbow joint or your shoulder. And we're going to lower down to touch the foot bar and lift back up. Now you don't have to go so far that you actually touch. Sometimes touching makes the abs turn off and the back turn on. So make sure you're keeping the abs engaged throughout. And that sometimes is easier just not making contact. 3, 2, one more time here. And come back in. Other side. Reach the leg out, lower down. 8, 7, 4. Sometimes just the scariness of being up on the box helps your abs stay in throughout. Last one. And then bend in. Now reach opposite arm and leg away from center. Now we're going to keep the back flat. So from the top of your head to your shoulders to your hips, you are not changing the shape of the spine. As you bend the elbow and knee towards each other and reach away. You bend in and reach. Inhale, bend. Exhale, reach. 4, 4, 5, 6. The natural tendency is to round and then to arch. Keep it all together. Other side. Reach out. Bend in. Tail reaches out as you bend the knee. Squeeze the glute a little bit as you stretch out. 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time here. And then come all the way down. We're going to step off the box and we're going to move it so we can do a plank. So we're going to flip the box to short box. And for some of your reformers, depending on your height, you may want to put the box over the shoulder blocks. I'm going to maintain the green to kind of light, not the worst. If it's too heavy for you, you could put a red on or even a blue. The lighter the tension, the more ab support you're going to need though. So if you're still really worried about your back, keeping it a little heavier is a good idea. We're going to press out. We're going to do a minute plank. So on your mark, get set, push out. And when you come out, drop the shoulders, pull the abs in, and you can stay right here. And your feet, by the way, my feet are on the wood of the reformer. Your feet could also be on the foot bar. Because the box is higher than your feet, you are most likely getting a little of the tension off your lower back. If you wanted to do this opposite, you could take the box away, put your forearms on the reformer, on the carriage, and lift your feet up higher onto the foot bar. Whatever works, really. I'm done for time here. Oh, I didn't start my timer, that was mean. So we're just hanging out here all day. We will make it up. I will say when we get to 30 seconds, because I feel like I talked for a while. 15 seconds left. 10. 3, 2, and release down. Really nice. So we're going to come up, and we will remove the box. With the box away, you're going to come back with the foot bar up. So your foot bar comes all the way up, and we can still maintain just that one green. And we'll come into a single leg thigh stretch. So one foot's on the floor, one knee's down on the carriage, and you press out. So this seems a little light to me, so I am going to add the blue. If it seems light to you, you can add a blue, a red, a yellow, a white, whatever you got. Exhale to come in, exhale, press out. You want to feel the tension in the front of the hip that's on the carriage. So you press out, dropping into your lunge, squaring your hips, pulling your abs in, maintaining the extension of the spine in and out. One more here. And we're going to turn and bring one foot against the inside leg of the reformer, the other foot against the shoulder block, and press out into our split. Now if this is too much weight, like if you put on more weight and you can't move the carriage now, take some weight off. You want to feel the inner thigh stretch, but you don't want to feel like you can't push into it. And you can move through this. Again, in Pilates, there's almost always moving because it's a dynamic exercise or workout. But as a dancer first, and by a lot of dancers being attracted to Pilates, static stretching is also effective. So if you feel like you need to hold something, hold something. If you feel like you need to move something, listen to your body. Again, the whole mantra of today's exercise would be to listen to what you're being given, because your body will be sharing feedback with you. If it's too much, you'll know. And there's also good indicators where to push and when not to. So if you're feeling like there's a twinge of pulling, a negative like feeling in your body, like a inhale in your body when you're doing something, especially stretching, that means you've gone too far and you should not push it. If it feels like I'm getting tired and maybe I shouldn't do one more, but I probably could, but maybe I shouldn't, sometimes that's okay to push. You know, listen to your body, but also don't always give in. Pressing out. Again, if you needed to take more weight off last time, you probably will on this side as well. Out and in. Keeping the pelvis neutral, so not allowing the body to tuck under. Last one here. And come all the way. So that was our Pilates for lower back pain. If you have any